Welcome everybody to my tea party with Peter Rabbit in Mr. McGregor's garden. And with me today is Charlotte. Charlotte, would you like some tea in your cup? Would you like some tea in your cup? Would you like some milk in your tea? Let's put some milk in your tea. Yum, yum. Want some? And we'll have, thank you, Charlotte. Thank you so much. Do you want some? You may pick it up and taste it. It's yummy, isn't it? Yes, it is. And Peter Rabbit has some tea. And here's a carrot muffin for you and one for Peter Rabbit. A radish sandwich. A cucumber sandwich. And a lettuce sandwich. Isn't that funny? All of the things that, yes, I know, all of the things that Peter Rabbit loves. You see your hop hop? And there is a story about Peter Rabbit. And he does get in the garden. The tale of Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother under the root of a big tree. And now, said Mrs. Rabbit one morning, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go in Mr. McGregor's garden. Well, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail went down the lane to pick blackberries, but Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight to Mr. McGregor's garden. First, he ate some lettuce. Oh, yum, I love lettuce. It's a lettuce sandwich. And then some beans.
There he is.
And he ate some radishes too. I have radishes. And then he felt rather sick. Well, turning the corner, who should Peter meet but Mr. McGregor? He jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling, "Stop, thief, stop!" And Peter was very frightened. Thank you so much. He rushed all over the garden and lost both of his shoes. And then he got tripped and lost in the net. Well, some friendly sparrows flew down to help him, and Mr. McGregor came out. But Peter wriggled free just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. He rushed to the tool shed and hid in a watering can. And then he sneezed, "Kerchoo!" And Mr. McGregor was after him again. Well, Peter leapt out of a window, knocking over 3 plants. And the window was too small for Mr. McGregor to get through. And Mr. McGregor went back to his work. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Peter was all alone again. And he was very frightened, and he was very lost. Thank you so much. And after a while, Peter found a door in a wall, and a mouse was running in it, Shirley. The mouse. Carrying peas and beans to her family. And Peter asked her way to the gate. but she had such a large pea in her mouth, she couldn't answer. And Peter set off across the garden and came to a pond where the white cat was sitting and staring at some goldfish. Charlotte, would you like a carrot muffin? She sat very still, and Peter thought it best to keep going. He had heard some very alarming things about cats. And then suddenly, quite close to him, Peter heard a sound. Scritch, 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 scratch. Scritch, scritch. He scuttled underneath the bushes. But as nothing happened, he crept out, and there was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions, and just beyond him was the garden gate. Well, very quietly, Peter jumped down and started to run fast as he could, and he slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last. And Mr. McGregor soon found Peter's blue jacket and his shoes. He hung them on his scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. And Peter didn't stop. He ran until he was safely home. He was so tired that he flopped down on the sandy ground and closed his eyes. And poor Peter Rabbit was not very well during the evening. Mrs. Rabbit put him to bed and made some chamomile tea. Would you like some more tea, Charlotte? Chamomile tea. Thank you. And put him to bed. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and delicious blackberries for supper. Peter, thank you so much for sharing your story with me and Charlotte. Charlotte, do you love Hop Hop? Can you give Hop Hop a kiss? Give him some love. Thank you.